last year we won everything. I said that except for a duel against Wyoming Sam, and
Yeah.
we like went to Ironman with a pretty young team. We won it. Everybody was talking about us all of a sudden. And you know what happened? We came home in our home gym and we got punched in the mouth. And so we had to, we have had opportunities where we've had to learn that humility the hard way. The second you think you've arrived, um, God will probably let you fall on your face, or somebody that has been working tirelessly and waking up a little bit early and has had the sting of loss, like they're gonna come and get you.
Ben Clymer won a PA state title for Northwestern Lehigh in 2008. He qualified for the NCAA tournament 3 times representing Hofstra University, but failed to ultimately reach his goals. That failure has only fueled his success as a coach, turning Faith Christian Academy into one of the best high school teams in the nation. I'm Kelby Bachman, and this is Let's Talk Wrestling. In the heart of West Union, Iowa, lies a hidden gem in Euphoria Coffee. Owned by local residents Nicole and Shane Havenstreit, they source everything they can from local vendors. From hot and iced drinks, to savory breakfast burritos, to baked goods, to botany tea, and even homemade waffles, Euphoria Coffee is a place your entire family can enjoy. You can find more information at drinkeuphoria.coffee2go.com or visit their Facebook page. And we also have a special gift just for you. Next time you stop in, you can get a free baked good with a $20 purchase. Just mention the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Euphoria Coffee. Our purpose is deeper than coffee.
Well, hey, what's up? What are you up to?
It's a busy season of life for me, man. That's a loaded question, but
Yeah.
in short, got back from a wrestling tournament last night. Me and the family moved into a old farmhouse just not not quite 2 months ago, and so today was tearing down trees, spending some time in church, renovations, just
Wow.
making fires outside. It's
Yeah.
a fun
So,
grind.
yeah, did you move before the season started?
Yeah, so
Why? What?
not a good move, right? Why would we do that?
That's what I was thinking.
We yeah, we've been looking for a couple of years. Like we got 4 little kids, family's growing, it's all a blessing. Try and be smart, tactful, even like location where we wanted to move and what was available. And like honestly something came up quick, and it was an old farmhouse, so there's a little bit of like downside just to taking on a little bit of a risk like that. But
For sure.
there's 3 acres of land, a big barn on the property, and the more we kind of looked at it and asked around and talked with each other, prayed with each other, like it it just happened. It happened quickly, and it worked out with selling our house, and so we were so excited, and just hey man, it's been 2 years in the making. Let's attack it. It seems clear, and then we got in there and started making list of projects and what we wanted to accomplish. And somewhere right around that time, it was like, oh yeah, we're about to start wrestling season. And that's a job, man. So we're making the best of it, trying obviously to keep our family on the priority of it all. But it's a special thing getting to coach these young guys in wrestling, and just hustle with the group that is all of them, their parents, and so we're we're enjoying it.
Good. Good. A lot what I hear people use the term controlled chaos.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Are you a handyman? Like, are you going around? Are you the one attacking these projects and stuff?
Yeah, currently I don't feel like a handyman because it's just such a slow process. But yeah, I grew up laboring for my dad in construction, and I got into teaching, got my degree from Hofstra, taught, was an athletic director, and then once my wife and I started having kids, and I just kind of wanted to slow the pace of life down a little bit, and um, something happened. Yeah, the computer is not authorized. I don't think something was popping up. yeah, wanted to slow the pace of life down and ended up getting back in construction with my dad. So, um, yeah, do all phases of construction, and that makes me able to take on whatever home projects my wife dreams up. So lucky me.
Yeah. I like how you say you wanted to slow the pace down, but now you're a head coach of a very prominent wrestling team. Like, how much slower of a pace is it really, you know?
Yeah, and as much as I crave slowing down, like I'm like a yes man, and so I struggle with saying no to things, and my pace of life always seems to be pretty revved up. But like when I stepped away from the athletic director gig and all that encompassed at a growing Christian school,
Mhm.
um, it was at Faith Christian. I was the athletic director there, so I was the head coach of the wrestling program. That was growing like crazy, but if the middle school girls soccer coach couldn't make that day, like I was also a middle school girls soccer coach that day. If we needed a
Really?
bus
Okay.
driver, for the basketball team going down and we couldn't find one, like I was the bus driver and like for a season it was like, yeah, I'm figuring this out and getting to check a lot of boxes of my resume. But I think when my wife and I made the decision to like remove ourselves from that and slow things down, it did help me to become more intentional with being a wrestling coach. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there were a lot of days where I was like, guys, work on this. I gotta go put this fire out. And you know, that's not cool. So it's been maybe 5 years now, where I've been away from the school and construction family and coaching some wrestling and I know that in a lot of ways I get to be more intentional with them and with the families and so it's busy but it's more enjoyable than what it was once upon a time.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so 5 years ago would have been, would that have been like the 2020 2021 season? Were you still the AD then?
So the year before that it was COVID.
Yeah.
When COVID because COVID would have been the 2019-20 year, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So that is when I stepped away. Technically, August of 2020 is like when my contract was up, and when I officially handed the reins off and began in construction. But certainly that spring is when my wife and I were chilling on the couch and communicated that that's the direction we were going to be headed in. And so yeah.
The reason I bring that up is because it's interesting how you can almost directly correlate. I'm on the I'm on well, it's on your profile here, Northwestern Lehigh Tigers, Ben Clymer. But right during the 2021-2022 season is when Faith Christian really took that jump. And that almost coincides directly with when you stepped away from being the athletic director. Like you became more intentional and you guys, it just all of a sudden you guys hockey sticked and you know.
I that's a crazy catch that you made there that sort of organically came out. I'll be really
Right.
quick to say like in anything that we discuss relative to the program, like it there's crazy talented kids in our program. So a lot of like those curves that you're noting, it's not like, whoa, Ben became a really good coach this year. Like
No, I
no,
wasn't saying that at all, honestly.
there was a collection of kids that were coming up and I didn't step away from being an athletic director so that I could become more intentional in wrestling, but I do think it's a pretty awesome thing. Maybe even God in his planning allowed that to be the case, and all of a sudden as this really talented group was coming up, um I could be more intentional with them and perhaps be a little bit more of a present coach and enjoy the really amazing ride that it's been with them because I wasn't wearing all those different hats. So it wasn't a cool plan by me. It just sort of happened organically, kind of what was best for
Mhm.
our family during the time and everything else. But that jump in success was really this year's senior class. They were freshmen at the time, and a lot of people around the area that know the sport knew that jump was coming. These guys, uh, a lot of them were at Faith since fourth, fifth, sixth grade, but even before that, there are local clubs. Contender Elite is one that we oftentimes point back to. They were all together then, and when they would go to off-season tournaments and stuff like that, them and their parents and everyone was running together. And so the fact that they all ended up landing at Faith at some point in time, yeah, the people from the area knew, yeah, this is gonna be a bomb, man. And yeah, 2020-21 season was the igniter of it all.
It's one thing to um, put the cart ahead of the horse and say this group is going to be special. Okay, yeah, okay. How special though? You know what I mean? Like that's relative to an extent. Like, did you in your wildest dreams expect them to be this good and this special? I mean, because also you have to get them there. It's one thing to say they're going to be special and then to get them there and almost exceed what you thought their specialness was going to be. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
wow.
I would not have guessed it, but I think a little bit of that was my, um, you know, I was not all things wrestling. These kids are all year round invested, and their parents um, are all year round invested, and they have been for a long, long time. Like I enjoy a bunch of different sports and following different sports and being involved in different stuff. So um, as this wave was coming in up, and I'm obviously in the wrestling scene and coaching and stuff, like I knew that it was going to be a lot of fun and a really talented group, but my mind is just not like knowing what California teams and what Ohio teams and like what the national landscape is. So like I just simply wasn't thinking that way. Like on a national stage, I still had in my, mindset like we got to catch up to Sauk Valley and some of these Notre Dame Green Pond teams that are running Pennsylvania right now. Um, and I knew that we were going to do that, but all of a sudden, as the kids really blossomed and continued to mature as young men and as competitors, and their love for the sport, here we find ourselves as the best team in the nation. And but I think, like, honestly, like if you had one of the parents, a couple of the parents on here, like they knew darn well, like, yeah, this is our intention. We know how talented this group is, and
Mm,
uh, they're not so surprised by where things are at. But it's a lot of things that need to align. Uh,
right. Yeah.
you know, how many times have you seen kids that are like talented and they got a lot of good things going for them? They just fizzle out, or there's an injury that they, just never really were able to return from. Life situations and circumstance happen, and so um, our group has experienced some different things like that, but as a whole, really, everyone has maintained that love of the sport and love of the grind, and it's pretty special that it's all culminated how it has.
Yeah. And that's why I was kind of saying, it's one thing to view it as like, oh man, this team can be special. And it's like it can be, and that's kind of the key word. So to get them to actually become something special is almost a whole different world in and of itself. So to, like you alluded to, injuries, home life, balancing school and athletics and there's just some and also just being a teenager, man, like it
Yeah,
could be
yeah,
hard.
yeah.
So, when did you first find out that they were like number one in the nation? Do you have any inkling how good the team was at one point and you were like, wow, we're number one? Holy cow. Or did you just kind of expect it? I mean, what was that like?
Yeah, I guess like going into last year, the year prior we were, I think we won Beast of the East. Maybe we even took second. No, I can't remember. So not this year, not last year, but the year before. And we had placed high at Ironman, and it was our first time being there. And Ironman is like you win Ironman, you're pretty much the best team in the nation. Like,
Yeah.
um, and so for us to be out there for the first time and experience that tournament, and all of a sudden it was like, oh dang, here we are running with the big boys. We had one senior on the team at that time, and and he wrestled like up two weight classes to kind of fill in for a spot. So he's talented, and he's at Little Rock of Arkansas now. So he's a Division I wrestler and a talented dude, Cody Wagner. Um, but our really crazy elite guys were all underclassmen. And once Cody graduated that year, even though we were missing him, guys like Freddie Bachman and like Joey Bachman and Nick Singer and like there were more people coming up than there were people going out, and we were already that close. So two
Yeah.
years ago, you knew everybody was talented, but 2 years ago when we were on like the national scene and winning or competing and we were young. And so the, you know, not only can you forecast now, like a year from now, we're going to be better. And 2 years from now, we're going to be even better. But like, you also got to see the young kids, just how much of a moxie and like a competitive poise. Like we try to preach a lot of humility. I think that's one of the ways that you can grow into that expectation is not being entitled by staying workmanlike and grateful and a lot of lowly characteristics. But on those big stages, you also do need to have that like, I like when the lights are on. I like this stage,
Mhm.
and that's when you could really see like, yeah, this group has that. Even as freshmen, like they friggin' love it. And that's a compliment to them and their parents and the grind that they've been uh, going through for their whole life. So yeah, two years ago, you could see just a lot of those little characteristics. This is gonna be cool, man. And then last year it all came to fruition. We won everything, and unbelievable.
Yeah. And just to clarify, there is, to my knowledge, there's no relation between me and like Freddie and Joey. Okay. Like they have an
I thought
extra,
that's why we were
you
doing
know
this.
what I mean? Oh,
I,
yeah.
I thought my wife said you were one of the Bachmans. This is it. Like, we got to
Same
keep it in the
last name.
family.
It's just they have an extra N for whatever reason. I don't know.
Gotcha.
But
All right,
um,
all right. No
no,
relation. I
that's
gotta.
funny. At least not to my knowledge. But how did you keep them humble? You just talked about humility. When you get that good, it's a fine line to balance like having that moxie and like having that swag,
Yeah.
but also stay humble and be like, okay, well, there's still more work to do. Even though we are the best team, even though we've won all these things, like how do you balance that as a coach preaching to these kids?
Yeah, it's a constant tug of war. So you just like,
Right.
if you love the kids and you're invested into them and just having a pulse on them, like I think it's just kind of week in, week out. You sort of can sense like what message they need to hear and maybe God lays something on your heart. Maybe, you see something or hear something from another coach and it's just like yeah, we gotta preach to that humility and whatever else. But we've got to get these guys to like get a little bit of their edge back and that moxie on the big stage. But I would say relevant to us, we've had the good fortune with this group where you talk about the Bachmans, you talk about Adam Waters and Kale and the singers and just
It's
all
just
this crazy
incredible.
talent. They've been on a big national stage, albeit in the youth circuit in middle school, for their whole lives. And so you don't really need to bring out that moxie in them.
Hmm.
They have it. They have it. With or without you or I or anybody else, they get it. They've been there. They've done that. It matters to them, and you better get out of their way. So that messaging very seldom needs to come out because they just have it.
Hmm.
The humility part is one that above all else, I try to predicate myself on sharing the gospel and focusing on Christ more than anything else. I think wrestling's an amazing sport and can teach a lot of valuable lessons, but at the end of the day, like wrestling is going to end and you want to grip onto something that is more eternal and more foundational for the type of father and husband and person you're going to become. So we pluck a ton of characteristics of Christ and try to teach them. And as coaches, really try to exemplify them. And humility is one of the top ones. And so, um, how we do that and when we do that is really just something that we're constantly trying to live out. And we've certainly had, last year we won everything. I said that except for a duel against Wyoming Sam, and
Yeah.
we like went to Ironman with a pretty young team. We won it. Everybody was talking about us all of a sudden. And you know what happened? We came home in our home gym and we got punched in the mouth. And So we had to, we have had opportunities where we've had to learn that humility the hard way. The second you think you've arrived, um, God will probably let you fall on your face, or somebody that has been working tirelessly and waking up a little bit early and has had the sting of loss, like they're gonna come and get you. So we have a really competitive schedule that keeps us on our toes and keeps us humble and grinding. And even without all that, it's really a lifestyle that we're just constantly trying to mimic after Christ anyway. There's never a good reason to lose that humility. You want to constantly be coming back to it. So yeah.
Is there a couple of things that you pull from the Bible that you sort of maybe reiterate a few times more than other passages? Is there one or two that you can think of right now that you're like, this is one that I tend to, repeat a lot because it's important?
There's several. One of our like forever motto verses is Hebrews 12:11. For the moment, all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant, but later it yields a peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. And so the passage is talking about like the discipline of following after Christ, and it goes on to say, like, have you disciplined yourself to the point of death? No, you haven't. So knowing that your Savior did that for you, endure the life circumstances that you're going through, like take up your cross and live a disciplined lifestyle. So that is certainly one that the kids have memorized and that we're constantly reiterating, like you want to find discipline and create those habits in your life that are going to yield a godly young man, a godly husband and father. Like the world needs that. The world doesn't need another NIL deal to read about on social media. Like they need strong homes, man. They need people that are impacting their community in the right way. So really trying to search after that discipline rather than chasing a lot of other things. Certainly that's a big one. But we have nine fruits of faith. There's nine fruits of the spirit. Basically, the context in the Bible is like if you are if you have Christ in your life, so you're living for Christ, then it should produce a fruit. Just like if you were a part of an apple tree, you would produce apples. And so the Bible talks about there being nine fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. We created nine fruits of faith wrestling. Like if you come through this program, we would like you to be exemplifying these fruits. No one will do it perfectly, not your coaches or anybody else, but it's just something that we can sort of, kind of like pillars of our program sort of stuff. And so that verse is one of them. Off the top of my mind, Matthew 25:23 is that embodies use your stage fruit of faith. And Matthew 25:23 says, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. Now I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. And that comes from a parable of the talents. So a master gives a certain amount of talents or money, and then he leaves town and he comes back, and a couple of the servants multiplied it and put it to good use. And he said, well done, my good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over this little bit. Now I'm going to set you over more of my kingdom. And one of the servants didn't do anything with it. He buried it in the ground. He was scared. He didn't like, and the master came back and said, you wicked servant, depart from me. And the message to us as believers is God's equipped us with the gospel. The good news is Son Jesus Christ. And someday we're going to meet him, or someday he's going to come back. What will you have done with that? And furthermore, like he's blessed our wrestling program with a ton of talent and a ton of energy and excitement. What are you going to do with that? Are you going to walk the walk and wake up and work hard? Are you going to try to impact people for eternity and all those things? And we really believe like when God sees us doing that and making the most with what he's given us, he's going to want to put us on that bigger stage. He's going to want to put us, you know, up in the rankings, and that's not ultimately why we do it. But that's one of the verses, and there's a there's a lot of verses I could take up the whole time, but
Yeah.
a ton of proverbs. A lot of whispering can happen, as you can imagine, like within our
Yeah.
group and people starting. And and not starting and what we see on forums and social media and all that stuff. And Proverbs 26:20 says, for lack of wood, the fire goes out, and where there is no whisperer, quarreling ceases. And so we just want to be a group that's really good at speaking openly and honestly with each other and not being in this habit of gossiping and whispering. Because when we do, there's going to be fires that are starting, and that people don't want to be a part of that, man. Life's too short. Um, Walk with the wise and you'll become wise, but a companion of fools will suffer harm. Gotta be careful who you're hanging out with. It's Proverbs 13:20. Um, so there's a few.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it, because as you know, that's part of what you at your school, you really do mesh the Bible with sport, and
Yeah.
basically you learn how to become a better human and a better wrestler by using the Bible to as kind of a catalyst of
Yeah.
sorts for that. So I was just curious, what were some that stood out as like um I guess I'm going backwards a little bit. How did you end up at Faith Christian in the first place? You graduated from Hofstra, and then it seems like shortly after you wound up at Faith Christian.
Yeah, it probably ended up being like a year and a half time. So I'm originally from like the Lehigh Valley.
Yeah.
And so both of my parents actually went to Faith Christian. So a lot of
Really?
my family is like from the area. Yep. But when I was born, they moved an hour north up to, Northwestern Lehigh.
Mhm.
Uh, and so that's where I grew up, and we were homeschooled. We played sports for Northwestern Lehigh. So even though I had a lot of family from the area and faith, like that's not where I grew up, and we weren't that connected. Sometimes go down for like an alumni basketball game or something with our parents, but it's not like we were really around the school or following it. And so uh went to school at Hofstra then. And I was subbing and coaching up there, and I got a call from my uncle who um who was a principal at Faith, and he basically said, Benny, we need a phys ed and health teacher. I know that's what you have your degree in, and we're really looking to start a wrestling program. The school is growing, and so we're constantly looking to add more sports and more programs, and give people reason to come to the school. And um, we'd love for you to consider it. And at the time, like I was dating my now wife, and so I wasn't totally sure what she would think, but I was still living with like college buddies, and not totally growing up in
Yeah.
my life. And so I just thought it was a cool opportunity to like grow my resume, get a clean slate, kind of move back closer to home. And I was praying about it. It felt like God was opening that door and giving me a peace about it. And then ultimately my wife, uh my girlfriend at the time, started looking for work back in Pennsylvania, and I just kind of thought like, yeah, let's see what happens. And that's where I've been since. 12 years. Freaking nuts.
Wow, 12 years.
Yeah.
You have seven siblings too. So like you
8.
were eight siblings.
Yeah. I'm one of
You,
9.
oh, you're one of nine.
Yeah.
What was that house like being homeschooled?
It was nuts. I mean, we have the best mom in the whole wide world, and a dad who's sacrificed for us like crazy. So definitely wouldn't be achievable without them and their patience and their love for us. But it was cool, man. It was, I think, obviously, as we started getting older and there were still like little kids in the house, like those were like annoying times. Where like there's the chaos of like little kids, and as you travel around to just like go do something simple as a family, it's just like the circus is rolling in. You go to a restaurant, you go to a sporting event, it's like the 15 passenger Clymer mobile is rolling up here, and strollers are falling out. Like it's just there were some points where like it was pretty chaotic and didn't seem so cool. But honestly, for the most part, you know, it was just fun, man. You always had somebody to hang out with, to play with, and I told you like I work construction with my dad now. Like that's what we did then too. Like we worked, we made money, we learned the trade, we played on the weekends. We were obviously involved in sports and in church, youth group programs and stuff. And so I guess that's where I get my busyness now, man. We were just always busy. Like there was never there was never really time where you were just sitting at home and relaxing. Like there's too many people around to
Yeah,
relax and
right.
nap, and there was too much to do, too much going on. But it certainly made it like a lot of fun, and even still, I think it's cool. We couldn't really appreciate it growing up, but you see a lot of families just as life takes over and people move away. Sometimes there's rifts and grudges, and our family is totally not perfect. But I think especially around the holidays, you see where like, oh man, that family's not really around anymore. They're not totally getting together. They're not kind of back at church even for like the holiday stuff. Like I wonder how they're doing. And I'm so grateful. Like we are all still local. We love getting together.
Really?
We throw like themed parties, you know,
Oh,
hillbilly hoedown parties, and still getting together over the holidays. Like it's God's blessed us with a neat family. It's a compliment to my parents. So 9 kids was crazy. I have four now, and I couldn't imagine having more than two. Um, and so I don't wish it upon anybody, but it was a lot of fun, man.
how many were there any sets of twins?
No, no,
Wow. Okay. And where do you fall in line in the siblings?
second
Second,
oldest. Yep.
second oldest. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, wow. When was the last time you all got together? Like your mom
Just
and dad and all the siblings.
yeah, Friday before Christmas. So
No
whatever that
kidding.
day was, 20 something. Yeah.
How many? So now in total, between the siblings and the kids, how many are there?
All right, let me do that real quick. I
Yes.
would
Okay.
say that I would say that five of the nine are married.
Okay.
Um, Another one's engaged. Um,
We'll count it. We'll count
we'll count it.
it.
Two other very, very committed girlfriends. I don't, you can keep going anyway. So we'll go six spouses, and then there are four, six, seven, eight grandkids with a ninth on the way in March. So 9 kids, six spouses of 15, eight grandkids, 23 and counting. Like it's almost like you talk about like the faith program, like man, you can tell this group's coming up. Like, yeah, there's eight grandkids and one on the way, but like you could tell the avalanche is coming, man. Like this we're gonna be doing this same podcast next year, and I'm like, yeah, man, the 23rd grandchild on the way. Like I don't know what to tell you. There's a lot of people, a lot of babies coming.
That's awesome. Yeah, you guys could have done like 4-on-4. I mean, I don't know how
Yeah,
close you guys were in age, but you know,
yeah. There
um,
was like there was like I'm not kidding you. Even still, you talk about like flag foot or Thanksgiving football games and
right,
stuff like
yeah.
that. Like we love each other, but God's also blessed us with a very competitive tick. We all hate losing. And so yeah, we play games all the time. You're talking about kickball on the cul-de-sac and roller hockey and yeah, backyard football games. And I mean, majority of them end in a fight and somebody being pissed off. And so we had enough numbers to play games. Oftentimes there was friends hanging out at the house, and so it was happening. But yeah, usually didn't end well. So yeah,
Uh, yeah. When did wrestling then come into the picture? Maybe for you or your family? I mean, when did that start to become a focal point, or at least when you started out, you know?
yeah. So I'll tell it quick, but my pop so my dad's dad, he coached and kind of like a legendary coach in the area that we're currently at. Penridge High School was like the local high school to Faith
Mhm.
Christian Academy. And so he's an amazing coach, amazing dude, coach football, coach track, but he loved wrestling. My dad went to Faith Christian where they didn't have wrestling, so he played all the other sports. And then as we were growing up, my pop up said you should get the boys wrestling. And Northwestern Lehigh happened to have a really good youth program, a talented grouping of kids. So my dad made us go out for it. I was a basketball guy, football guy. My dad made us go out for wrestling. Fourth and fifth grade. My brother Scotty and I were in. Scotty was in fifth. I was in fourth. And I was awful, but a collection of the dads like went to my dad and we're like, listen, your boys are really talented and we've got a pretty focused group. Like you really should keep them in it. And so Scotty was good right away. I was getting pinned all day, every day, every single time. Dad, I'm going back to play basketball. This is garbage. Let Scotty wrestle. I'm out. And my dad kept us in it. And then it started to get better. And then all my younger brothers, Bobby, Caleb, Dalton, they started, pretty much right in kindergarten. So Scotty and I started in fourth and fifth grade, but then all the younger brothers got to start right away. And yeah, a lot of football too, a little bit of baseball, but yeah, everybody wrestled. Couple state champs in the mix. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's
Yeah.
cool.
Football, did you continue that throughout like your high school career? Did you end up, you did?
Yeah, I love football way more than wrestling. I just when it came down to it, there weren't that many football coaches call me to play football at the next level. So my junior year when my brother Scotty was like confirming his recruiting process and coaches were really like coming to the house for him, they would say like, we're coming back next year for you. And I'd be like, I'm playing football in college. And then, yeah, I got to that point and I had to call some of them back and say, hey, you still want to come back to the house? Looks like I might be wrestling. I don't know. So yeah, but I'm grateful. I love wrestling. It's done a ton for me, and now a bunch of years later, it's been a huge you know part of my life. Obviously, like 12 years of getting to run with this group and be a part of this scene. It's been very life giving to me and has helped me. It's helped me create a lot of discipline in my life. Because as a
Yeah.
coach, you want to stay out in front, and it's hard to stay out in front of this group because they have lofty goals and a ton of drive. So yeah, I'm grateful for the path of wrestling in my life.
It's interesting you say that like your football is your first, you love it. And yet we're sitting here right now as the Steelers are playing the Ravens for a spot in the playoffs, and you're doing this podcast. You're not even watching the Steelers. That is if you're a Steelers fan, that is, I guess. I don't know.
Nah, no,
No?
we're on the east side of PA, boy. This is Philly country. This is
Oh,
Kelly Reed
Eagles. Oh, okay.
Eagles, baby. We didn't even play the starters today.
No. How was that? Did you watch it at all?
I was cutting down trees in the
Oh,
backyard.
yeah. No, you
Yeah.
didn't miss much. Yeah, McKee is
My
back there
son,
for a reason.
he kept running out like, Dad, they got an interception. Dad, they threw an interception. This is not good. All right, buddy. It's all right. Next week.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to insult you then. So you're a Philadelphia fan. Okay.
Right. What about you?
Vikings.
Okay. I
Yeah.
like it.
Really? Oh, thank you.
I got a couple buddies out in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Luke White, shout out. Pat Murphy's out there. Tyler Banks. Yeah.
Yeah. A little rough one this year, but I don't know. Whatever. Happens.
Brett Favre's probably still available, man. Philip Rivers came back. Let's get Favre back for a year. Resurrect you guys. You'd
Oh
be
my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, he did that once. Resurrected
yeah.
us 1 year. Anyway. So when you were you pretty disappointed that you weren't getting recruited for football?
Yeah, I was, but I like, you know, I Northwestern Lehigh is an amazing place. It's not like a huge school. It's kind of like middle of the road, and so it was just dumb and naive of me to think like I was bound for some Division I program and scholarships and everything else. Like I played football, but that I wasn't doing anything in the off season. Like I was just sort of like a talented high school player and played hard, loved it. We had a good team, but I wasn't warranting anything scholarship wise. So I just love football more. Like it was a little bit more fun to me. Like I love like the mano y mano part of wrestling. Like
Yeah.
that revved me up, and I do really love competing in anything, tennis, ping pong. Like I'm in, man. Let's go. But I really thought I'd be playing football, and um, yeah, then it worked out that I won states my senior year, and I wrestled in more off-season tournaments going into my senior year, and um, I wrestled in some the previous year with my brother, and so it started to take over. Like I started to be surrounded by more friends and stuff like that that were gunning for wrestling, and so I got into like the club scene and traveled to some tournaments, and so I started getting the bug, and part of that was like, yeah, man, it's hard to go play college football. I'm not like crazy fast, and I'm like 6'3", 190, and unless you're some like burner receiver, like that's not running back size, that's not middle linebacker size. I'm not a quarterback. Like, what is my plan here?
Yeah.
I better get good at this leg riding thing and push the wrestling issue. So, um, yeah, man,
So that's how did you end up at Hofstra then?
that was cool. So my junior year, I was academically ineligible. Um,
Really?
Dumb. We went out to team states and we left on a Wednesday night. Um, it was the start of the second semester. Um, I I was lazy in homeschool. It was like technically cyber charter school, so an online public school, but done at home. So we could still play sports for the public school team. And I just had a habit of like, yeah, I didn't hand in the assignment. I'll hand it in tomorrow. Like, I had a practice, what do you want me to do? And it typically was like a non-issue. You get away with it. It's all good. And and otherwise, like I was, school came pretty easy to me, good SAT scores, all that. Um, but I came back from team states my junior year, did not hand in a 100-point chemistry project to kick off the second semester, and Miss Silly, my chemistry teacher, said you're getting a zero. And I said, we're out at team states. We took second, by the way. Yeah, I wasn't here, but I have it ready for you now. I submitted it. Check it out. Even if I get partial credit, all good. Have a great week. And she's like, no, you've done this way too many times. You're getting a zero. And as it turns out, if you're failing a subject for 3 weeks in a row, after that third week, you're ineligible. So after team states, we had a week off, and then districts, and then regionals, and then states. So my junior year, I won districts, won regionals. I was ranked number one. I had beaten everybody, and I was ineligible for the state tournament. And my brother and I were both ranked number one. He was a defending state champ. Newspapers are writing articles. Clymer brothers both going for gold, and like a dummy, I was at home watching it. So that definitely like revved me up a little bit to push for my senior year. And but when I got to my senior year, like even in wrestling, because I didn't do a ton in the off season, and because I didn't even place in the state tournament my junior year, it wasn't like there was a ton of huge people coming after me. And I wrestled a kid, Aaron Carnes, who Hofstra was recruiting heavily my senior year at the team state tournament. I like bumped up a weight class and beat him pretty good. And so they contacted me, and I said, yeah, I'm not definitely not committed anywhere, and would love to entertain going up there and checking you guys out. And they offered me a full scholarship, and again, just being a little bit naive to like the wrestling world because I wasn't following it all the time. Like Hofstra was really good. Tom Ryan had just left there, and they were a top seven program at nationals the year before, and pretty pretty wild that I got with that path, right? Like I'm
Right.
not even a wrestler, like full scholarship for Hofstra, like very fortunate. So I love my time there, and one of my current wrestlers, Chase Hotz, he just graduated last year. He's a freshman at Hofstra. One of my teammates is now the head coach there. So still have a ton of ties to Long Island, and with my wife having come from there, we go back pretty often. So good
Nice.
good spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that must have been I was wondering because like on your profile here, it said I have a DNP your sophomore year, but yeah, your junior year, there's nothing there. You got first at districts and first at regional. So I was like, maybe he
Yeah,
got hurt or something. I don't know. But
yeah, I got hurt by Miss Silly.
yeah, wow. How, man. That's kind of a crossroads right there. I say this quite a lot in the podcast because I like to see how people navigate crossroads. Um, you could have taken one path and been like, oh, F this. Like you could have thrown like you could have completely went off the rails, but you kind of went left and was like kind of took it and added fuel to the fire a little bit.
Yeah, and I so it doesn't sound like I'm puffing myself up. Like I was definitely a punk in high school. Like I think God blessed me with uh, uh athleticism, and so a lot of things came easy to me. And it was easy to stand out, but I was arrogant and I was a punk and I was disrespectful and I was a lot of those things. Some of it was relevant to like my friend choices. And when I had that moment, my junior year, I was pissed off. I had a lot of those thoughts that you mentioned. Um, I was embarrassed. I really hated that. Like my last tournament with my brother was taken from me. But yeah, soon after that, like I really made a conscious decision to like, my youth group at church was not like a bunch of athletic, like-minded people. And I made a conscious effort to like I'm gonna go hang out with these church people more, and I'm gonna make that a part of my time and my group of friends, and start separating from these other people I call friends right now that are obviously leading me down a different path. And so that was a really big step to take. And yeah, started competing more with like a club team in the off season, and just had a different chip to me. And so it's definitely a necessary thing in my life at that time. Like it was a little bit crappy, but it's certainly a story that I have to tell kids now that I coach. And maybe I'm not wrestling, maybe I'm not a little bit more mature without having gone through something like that. So tough and
Yeah.
difficult, but one I
Yeah.
look back often.
And you watched states from home. You didn't go?
I did, and my brother Lawrence Beckman was one of the guys at my weight that got on the phone when my brother called me. Like, these guys want you out here, man. Like, come on. And Lawrence Beckman was a competitor at my weight at that time. He couldn't believe the story when it came out. Um, and he didn't end up winning the tournament anyway. He thought he was going to be the next guy in line. Uh, Long story short, my wife and I met at his wedding. Uh, 10 years ago now. So a couple guys called me and were like, dude, get your butt out here. So I went out for the final day on Saturday, but I wasn't out there Thursday or Friday. But I went out Saturday, watched it
There
in
you
person.
go.
Yeah, it's all good.
You met your wife at his wedding, at Lawrence
Right.
Beckman's wedding.
Yeah, he wrestled. He went on to wrestle at Hofstra. He was a year older than me.
Mm.
And he married a lacrosse player from Hofstra. And they intentionally put my wife and I, who was also a lacrosse player at Hofstra, put us together in the wedding party. And yeah, man, we hit it off and ended up dating. And she followed me, got her to follow me back to Pennsylvania and have 4 kids. So,
So you didn't know her at Hofstra at all? Like you never ran into her or anything?
and she graduated 2 years ahead of me.
Okay.
And so we sort of like share stories of like, I think we were at that place at the same time. Remember, like, we
Mhm.
never met. And, you know, it may be a good thing. I wasn't
Right.
totally mature. Not that I am now or was when we met, but that freshman and sophomore year, maybe she would have met a different Ben. Good that I dodged that.
Yeah. Um, were you getting looked at anywhere like after you won states your senior year? Did that sort of start the phone call and the people coming knocking on the door, or were you already committed to Hofstra and that was it, like done?
I committed before the regional tournament. So it was a pretty quick process, and I'm sort of thankful that I, again, not totally knowing the college landscape,
Right.
I had the
It's kind
superintendent
of
at
late.
Northwestern
I think
Lehigh.
it's kind of late to commit.
And it's late. That
Yeah.
was the other thing. So like when I got that offer, team states is the first week of February. So it's the first week of February, my senior year. My high school coach and the superintendent at Northwestern Lehigh and a couple other just like family members and stuff like that said, man, that is still like somewhat close to home. So it's not even like you're taking a huge leap in travel and commute and distance, but it's a great academic school, and it's highly competitive from the wrestling standpoint. Like you'd be really crazy not to pursue that. And so I took a short time to pray about it, and like I said, because of my limited wrestling experience, there were other local colleges, Lock Haven and Drexel, and schools like that that were interested in throwing partial scholarships at me. But it really wasn't anything crazy. So once I got that opportunity, I took it. Like I said, it would have been 2 weeks that I took to go on a visit and discuss it, and then ultimately called the coach and verbaled. So yeah, by the time I won states, like that was wrapped up. Had a couple conversations, but yeah, man.
What about Liberty? Because your brother Scott went to Liberty. Was
Yeah.
that ever a thought to follow him and be with him?
Yeah, again, in my like naive thinking, like that was just my default. Like I'm probably not gonna play football. Like you know, I'll follow Scotty down to Liberty. That absolutely was like my default plan. Like it's cool down there. I've been down there to visit him. Like they got a Division I wrestling team, so I'll have the opportunity to get better and compete on a big stage. Um, wasn't like it was crazy expensive, so we'll figure out the financial end of things. But just kind of God working like all despite me and who I was at that time. Like, you know, Liberty never was banging down that door. Like, we got to get Scotty's brother too. Like they were like, yeah, you know what I mean? He's a good kid. We'll find out something to give him. But you never had that feeling, and that was like a lot of the coaches. Virginia and Dresser had talked with us once. McCoy at Maryland. Like there were coaches that were interested, but nobody was really like, I got to come to the house, and here's our offer. And it was just so stinking clear, man. When Hofstra saw me beat a guy that they were uh, heavily involved in recruiting, and it was up in weight class, and it was 9-2 or whatever the score was with Aaron Carnes. Like they contacted my parents. They set up an at home visit. They got us up to Hofstra for me and my dad. They put us up in a hotel. Like it was quick, and it was very apparent. Like, we want you, man. And so it
Yeah.
was. This is a great feeling. Let's go this way.
Yeah. Did
Yeah,
Carnes end up going to Hofstra?
he did not. I This has come up before, and I'm trying to think. So I feel like I've heard like what he ended up doing or where he ended up going, but I can't recall it off the top of my mind.
No, that's all right. I was just curious because I thought he did, but I guess I'm mistaken.
No.
But so you end up going to Hofstra, and when did you decide like PE and health? Because I saw you were you wanted to teach and coach after college, but I didn't know what you got your degree in.
Yeah, yeah. That Because just because I love sports so much, and like played so many different sports, like even in my free time growing up, like we were always doing something. And so like I feel like I just had like a knowledge of that and appreciation for it, and loving, being in shape, the confidence that has brought out in me, and wanting that for other people, and especially kids. Like I just loved, like, I had really great coaches growing up. And I love getting to observe them and how much they love coaching and doing this thing. So pretty early in my career, like I wanted to, that was that was my mindset, man. I want to teach a coach. This seems amazing. And so phys ed and health seemed like the right way to go. And yeah, man,
Does
loved it.
Hofstra have a pretty good education program?
Yeah. Yeah. It was like I don't know that they were some crazy nationally ranked in their
Mm,
education department, but they had a great department, and like Long Island's such an amazing place. So like I got placed with especially for my secondary placement with Russ Sellen at Freeport, and he was just like this giant of a football wrestling coach on Long Island.
nice.
You go to pizza parlors and stuff like that in town, and they got sandwiches and stuff named after him. And so
Oh, no
just
kidding.
yeah, it's just I got to be around some really neat people that helped steer me and mentor me, and athletic directors I got to meet. So yeah, it was a good choice. Like it was a great field of people like within the department and on Long Island that I got to be impacted by. So, um, yeah.
Yeah. What was it like your senior year? I should ask this earlier, but winning states your senior year, especially after the way the junior year ended, you know, finishing your high school career on top, it's probably something you envisioned and everything, but actually realizing that dream, like how cool was that to finish on top like that?
It was amazing. I got named the tournament outstanding wrestler too. Like I won in the
Oh,
finals 12-1, so that was a cool moment. We talked about my big family.
yeah.
Well, embarrassing things to happen was on the floor of the Giant Center, a reporter came up to me after I was awarded the outstanding wrestler,
Hmm.
and he asked my mom and I if this was our son because I was holding my little brother Dalton, who was a baby, and my mom looks young. And so, as a senior in high school, on a high from winning states, the outstanding wrestling trophy, and God, like, it's just your guy's son. Like, ooh, that deflated the air real quick. Big compliment to my mom, but yeah, it was really cool, man. It was like honestly, I told you like there was a lot of lifestyle changes and just a different tick and focus to me. So in my mind, like I cut a lot of weight for the first time too. Like I cut back down to 171 after walking around football season 90 95, and I God could have allowed it not to happen, but in my mind like it wasn't going to go a different way. It just wasn't. So it it was definitely a premeditated, very thought out thing, and so it was cool for it to come to fruition. And thankful I had that moment with such a bad taste in my mouth a year before being out there, and you know, it was really cool. And I love that place, the Giant Center. Like that's still where our state tournament, everything is, and so getting to walk those halls and just be in there with the guys now and speak a little of that same energy to them and see them buy into it and become like a little bit of a sacred thing. It's just so cool.
Yeah. Did you oh, I forgot what I was gonna ask. Um anyway, so you end up at Hofstra. Um what was it like that first year experiencing Hofstra? I mean, did you just get your butt kicked like a normal freshman?
Yeah, yes and no. Like
Oh, okay.
there were guys on the team. Like Ryan Patrovich was a mean dude,
Yeah.
um, and certainly like my coaches, Rob Onspach. There's a guy Alton Lucas who was a senior. He was a returning All American, 174, and just like explosive, dude. Like he'd blast double me and had me on my back before I was like starting to sprawl. You know what I mean? Like what just happened? But I was able to win the wrestle off for my weight class at 184. Um,
As a true freshman.
as a true freshman, and
Wow.
they didn't send me to the first tournament because it was a close wrestle off. Like I had won a couple of them, one of them over Lawrence Beckman. Got him. But yeah, Anthony Tatura, he was like a redshirt junior at the time, and it was a close match in the wrestle off, and so they just kind of went like, we're gonna let you mature. This guy's more seasoned. There's not much difference between you guys anyway, and I feel like he took like fifth or something like that at this tournament that was supposed to be a little bit more low scale, and so I said, all right, Clymer, we're gonna pluck your red shirt and give you a chance. And I tech fall the kid in my first match ever at Hofstra. We had a couple
Wow.
freshmen starting. Steve Bonanno, Jordan Ank was a heavyweight, and like I honestly think we all tech fought our guys, albeit against a lesser like Wagner opponent. But then the following week we went to Penn State and beat them. That was the year before Kel Sanderson got there, but they were ranked like sixth or seventh at the time, and I lost my match, but it was close. Steve Bonanno won a big match, so I was getting my butt kicked in the room by people, but competitively, I think I was 21-12. Like you could look it up. That's probably a little bit wrong. I don't know why that's sticking out in my head, but as a true freshman, like, I competed and that was the only year I didn't qualify for nationals, but like I lost in overtime to two All-Americans. Like they took top two at my weight class, um,
Oh,
Patterson,
really?
Umbahauer, and they took third and seventh at nationals that year. And I lost to overtime to both of them during the year to one and at the CAA tournament the other. So I feel like I was right there
Yeah.
and uh and you know, never totally I feel like the program a little bit started to digress. You know what I mean? Like in the absence of Tom Ryan after more and more years, and Jody
Yeah.
Buick was a big name coach who left the program a year later, and so it just wasn't totally the same recruiting pool. And um, I got more involved in like the party scene than it was a disciplined lifestyle, like hustling after it. And so there's a couple things that added to it. But I feel like that freshman year, like it was fun because I was getting my butt kicked in the room. I was doing privates with my coaches, and I really enjoyed competing. And then slowly but surely after that, it felt like more of a job, and I wasn't getting my butt kicked in the room. Like I was a little stronger. I knew how to carry myself. There wasn't so many people that could kick my butt, and instead of staying humble and hungry, I kind of went like, yeah, this is cool. I got my place. I got my starting spot. I go out there and do my thing. I do my thing on the weekends here too. Like it all works out, and that kind of kept me from continuing to progress. But nevertheless, it was a fun time, and um, yeah,
Yeah. That was back when just one match burned your red shirt. That was it.
yeah. That was you had to decide. Like
Yeah.
yeah, so that was it. They plucked it. Like I said, they did for three of us freshmen that year, and we lost to we lost to Ohio State by 1 point. There's a really popular Flow video, like back in the day when Flow
Mhm.
was just coming up. Lou Rigorello versus uh he's involved with Princeton now, in the regional training center. I can't think of his name. I'm the worst with names. When it comes to me, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Uh, but he like back
Lou was
arched.
tough. Lou
Lou
was
was
tough.
freaking tough. And this guy like double overs, back arch through him. Actually got called for a penalty because you can't like take him straight over the head or something like that. But the announcers on Flow were like, "What? What? What?" Just freaking out because it was the craziest back arch ever. But it was, we lost that duel by a point, and I beat a talented kid in that duel. So, dude, freshman year was awesome. Like
Yeah.
it was so cool being able to be a starter, and the team was really really exciting and really young, and we had some big wins, we had some tight matches, and yeah, it was a cool place.
Yeah. I
I'm gonna
mean,
think
what's that?
I'm gonna think of that person's name.
Yeah. But he was wrestling Lou.
He's wrestling Lou Ridgewell, 133.
All American, right?
Lou did All American, but he would pin guys that were ranked second, third in the nation. Like Lou should have been higher. He should have been a multiple time All American. He
Mhm.
should have finished higher in his senior year. Like he snuck in and took eighth. Um, but Lou was nasty with that bar arm on top, like nasty. Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah, he could turn you with it or what? Ah.
I'm trying to think if I ever really wrestled Lou. He was 2 years older. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
and
and way smaller, but
like
still.
like Steve Bonanno, he was a 125 pounder, but we were the same class, so we were kind of like buddies. And I like Lou, and we were close enough. But like me and Steve could mess around if we need to warm up at a tournament. Like we were buddies. We lived together for four
Yeah,
years. Like, Lou, it was like, you know,
yeah,
I got to be wrestling this big dumb 84 pounder for her. Like nothing good's gonna come of that. So I can't honestly say that I've ever like been in Lou's bar arm.
yeah.
So yeah. Chris Weidman, he's a fighter from up there. He would come in the room all the time and train with us.
Mhm.
Like that dude's put me in a bar arm before, but never lured.
Really? Was
Yeah.
he there when you were there, Weidman, or not? Was he before you?
He was there as an undergrad student teacher. So he was like in his fifth year,
Gotcha.
done competing. Um, so him and I became friends, and when he would do his training camps and stuff like that, he would come in to practice with me. He was one of those guys that would like just thump me. You know what I mean? Like he was
Yeah, yeah.
so good. He was so strong. He would do his cuts down from like 225 pounds, where he was fighting middleweight at the time, 185. And so early on in those training camps, when he was starting to get in shape, but he was still 215, 220. It was just like that guy would bash me. So
Was there ever a time where you got him?
uh, I think I took him down twice. I feel like both times it was off of I pull like a Russian tie, and he would
Yeah,
swim opposite arm like over my head, almost to like pull me down to a front headlock.
yeah.
Like that's where he would just bury me. Like he's not as athletic as me, so he would never really shoot through me. I'm hoping I'll be able to show this clip to him. We would oftentimes have arguments about who was more athletic. So he was never out athleticizing me, but he would get his hands on me and just snap me down over and over and over and over. So he would swim over top, and I twice sat through, peeked my head
Yeah, little peek
right down
out.
to the tip, and promptly celebrated.
I would too.
And then he grabbed a hold of me and just buried me. So yeah,
Yeah.
there was definitely one or two moments, but I guess it's sort of telling that I can remember them like they were glorious, because certainly wasn't happening a whole lot.
Yeah. You mentioned at your time at Hofstra, you were a three-time qualifier. You showed out against the top guys in the country.
Reese Humphreys, Reese Humphreys,
Oh, yeah, he was the guy who wrestled who oh, yep.
double arm back arch, Lou Roggerello. You look that up. It's a crazy call by the Flow guys.
Good. Okay, I will. Gosh, Reese Humphrey. I kind of forget that he was like at Ohio State. I don't know why. Like I shouldn't forget that Reese Humphreys was there, but
Lance Palmer and
Jay
they
Jaggers.
were loaded. Yeah, yeah,
Ooh.
Jaggers.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Anyway, Reese Humphrey, Lou Ridgerello. We'll look it up on Flow. Um, you tested yourself and were still, one of the best in the country, you know, qualified three times. Can you at least look back and look at that time at Hofstra, and even though maybe you didn't get what you set out to achieve, that it was still a successful wrestling campaign for you? I mean, you're still
Oh,
wrestling Division 1, qualified. It's a big wins. Like you were 4-year starter. I mean, there was a lot of positives come out of that too.
yeah, I think 100%. Like it was such a blessing getting to go to that and have the friends. Me and my friends are really tight. From there, we keep in touch with each other, albeit pretty spaced out by now. So the people I got to meet and create friendships with, the time I got to compete and just travel, right? Like see the country and experience some cool arenas. Like I would not trade it for the world. I think like when I bring up a little bit of my shortcomings, it's just, it's like, yeah, I feel like I probably had a higher ceiling than what I showed at the end of it all. And a little bit of that stinks because we sort of started this podcast talking about like just discipline, Hebrews 12:11, and what we
Yeah.
try to impact the kids now with like, man, find that discipline in your life. Your habits are going to create who you are. And you want that to be about Christ, and you want that to be about your work ethic and what time you wake up in the morning. And it's like, everything that I didn't do in college. I lived
Right.
Christ. I got sick and tired of the grind of training the right way, and like so a little bit like I'm bummed out that I didn't lead the program better. I didn't
Yeah.
leave the program better than when I found it. I probably in some ways was part of the digression of it because I didn't thirst after wrestling. But it certainly was a like an amazing time that I wouldn't trade for the world. So yeah,
How do you deal with, and this is something I have a hard time with from time to time, regrets of shortcomings, how do you and how have you handled them and reconciled with the shortcomings and looking back and turning, like, instead of looking at it as a negative, sort of spinning it into, gosh, you know what? I was still blessed, like you all just said, it was blessed. I wouldn't trade it for world, all those things. How did you how do you look at it positively instead of negatively?
Um, I certainly, you know, the fact that I get to be in a position like I am now, uh where I get to like share some of these stories, but like I get to be the head coach of one of the best teams in the nation. Like that's God's blessed and still allowed me to have like neat stages to tell some of these stories. So it's some ways easier to go, hey, here were my shortcomings, but it kind of all worked out. So I'm grateful for that. Like God did not keep me in some of those, you're ineligible, you're a failure, like you let the ball drop. Like he spun it and surrounded me with good people, namely my parents. But like I said, people at my youth group and church, and like he put the right people around me to pick me up out of some of those places. So um as I look back and I try to consider your question a little bit, like I think that's just a huge part of life is like you almost want to fail, you almost want to put yourself out there so much that you realize where you have shortcomings and where you're failing in temptations and where you are lacking in discipline and where uh, that way you get to grow and get better and um, if you stick with that and let God lead you and keep finding more discipline and forging ahead um, to problem solving and getting better at whatever your craft is, you're probably going to end up having opportunities to share those situations with people in your life and that's really powerful. You know what I mean? That's how learning continues. You know what I mean? Most of the information you have acquired comes from other people's experiences, right? Yeah, like
Yeah.
you watch videos on what other people do and how they grow and do things. Like that's your shortcomings are going to help somebody else learn from that, and it's actually really cool. That's a really powerful thing. So they sting in the moment, but the quicker you can count them as blessings and just pick yourself back up and get going, the more you'll probably realize the silver lining in them. I
Mhm.
was ineligible my junior year, ended up being a pretty powerful part of my whole story. My wife and I have lost children, stillbirths and miscarriages and stuff like that, dark, painful things, but they have redirected us to appreciating the kids that we didn't think we could have. Let's make these wrestlers our kids and treat them more as kids that we get to impact rather than a means to being state champs or something fleeting like that. And so God plants a lot of shortcomings and a lot of failures and a lot of struggles ultimately that he can grow you. It's painful, but
Right.
later it yields a fruit for piece of righteousness. So that's what
Man,
I
that's good. Yeah, that's tough though. Like, you're saying kind of look at these things that are in the moment, like just tough, but like it's a blessing. I mean, it's hard to say me being ineligible was a blessing, because like I don't know. That just seems like kind of like an oxymoron, in a sense that something bad is a blessing. So how like I'm just I understand how you can turn it into a blessing, but how do you call that a blessing when it's a negative?
Yeah, just like I think the more you give thought to it and you try to pause to really analyze it, like you know, there was a time when I was coaching where I was very agitated all the time because the group that I was coaching, we were not stacking up to where I thought we would be. And when we lost Caden, and when we were experiencing, probably not being able to have kids, what the doctor was saying, it shifted my mindset to coaching. Like these, I don't get to have kids, but look at this room full of 20 guys that's showing up here to listen to me. Like, thank you, Lord. I'm going to shift my thinking instead of being agitated. I just love these guys and enjoy the time. Um, and now, as I look back, I didn't have the maturity then to realize Caden and that tragedy as a blessing. But as I look back now, and the joy that I get from coaching and the growth that God has allowed in the program, and people that ask me like, how, it looks like you enjoy yourself, and how do you kind of get the program to where it's at and all that stuff. Like, it's not by my wisdom. It was by some really painful life situations. And the blessing is that I probably am not maturing as a coach without that shortcoming. And I think a lot of people could attest that most of life situations are where growth happens, is when there's a bump in the road, man, when there's a painful situation that forces you to pause and address something in your life and give thought to it. And there's always a fork in the road. You know what I mean? Sometimes those painful life lessons that could bring a maturity and a discipline and a triumph, they bring a bottle and a habit and a negative side too. So um, it's a very watershed sort of moment, but that's why I can look back to it and say I'm very thankful for the people around me that helped it to be a positive thing. But nevertheless, you know, a lot of those things I look back as blessings because they matured me when I didn't have the bandwidth or desire to mature. God let those things come to fruition, and they helped catapult me to where I'm at now. So it's hard in
Yeah.
the moment, and I even like recalled like Hofstra and like my shortcomings and stuff like that. So now, you know, fast forward 15 years, I get to coach this team, and they're very mature kids. They're very disciplined. They're very hungry, and even buy in sincerely to a lot of like the Christ-like attributes, and they're in church on Sunday and all those good things. But they're also immature sometimes too, and they also
There it is. Yeah.
you know,
Of
you
course.
know,
Yeah. They're still
they're high
kids.
school kids, and I get to catch myself. Like sometimes as coaches, we're talking like, "Can you believe this? Can you believe that? Like, how could this even be?" And it's like, yeah, yeah, I remember myself at Hofstra. Like I remember like leading the program away from maturity and discipline and gratitude and like, let's go play pong and be college kids. I can have a little bit more patience now for these high school kids because I was them.
Yeah.
I remember freaking out after losses like a child and throwing tantrums like so there's just we go through immature moments and tough times and I just think it's wise of us to not forget those things. There's a lot of lessons that come from them and yeah.
Yep. Yep. I feel that. I feel that.
And it makes you like a more genuine person. Like
Right.
you can't trick kids. Kids know when you're putting on a show and trying to be something that you're not. Like that's kind of a neat thing about kids. You can trick maybe adults and people that don't see you often. Kids that see you every day, like they just know. Um, so I think the more that you can just be genuine and not be like judge, jury, and executioner, like how could you, whatever else. Like, nah, man, I've been there. There's actually the story, and so I feel you. Let's get better from it. Let's mature from it because that's the right way to handle this shortcoming, and I think it helps. So yeah, wise to not rush past the tough times. Pause, consider them, grow from them. They're there for a reason.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's also says something between a coach and an athlete relationship that when you can say, "Hey, I understand. Hey, I've been there. Like, I'm not perfect either."
Yeah,
And kind of meet them where they're at, and I think there's a level of respect that grows from that. When an athlete can hear your story and be like, "Oh, okay, like."
yeah,
He's not perfect either. My coach isn't perfect either. Because like as an athlete, you kind of do look at your coach like that. Like, man, he didn't do anything wrong. It's like, well,
yeah. The faith kids could sing it different too. They're like, "No, get me on the mic. I'll tell you about my coach."
really.
Uh, only because I've been honest with them, right?
Which is good, which is where that respect and growth comes from. And that's where you can actually get a lot more, like I say, growth athletically from them is because they trust you, you know.
Sure.
Um, Before I let you go, I have a couple other things I want to touch on here. As you're at Faith and you're preparing guys for the next level, like I'm not saying give away your secret sauce here, but like as a coach, who is preparing kids for the next level, who know that they want to wrestle at the next level, like what are some things that you do that helps your guys be as prepared for the next level of wrestling, no matter what it is, D2, D3, NAIA? Like, what do you do to help them be as prepared as they possibly can to succeed?
Um, I think a couple things. Like honestly, we don't have to dwell on this because we spent a ton of time talking about it already. But like, I really do believe the strongest foundation that you can give yourself is we're all gonna die someday. So have you ever considered what you believe and why? You know what I mean? Like life
Yeah.
is going to end. What do you
Yep.
believe happens? And I'll share with you what I believe. It's what the Bible says that God sent his son to die for us. That's the only way we can get in heaven because his son's perfect. No matter what we do, we're not. So we can't earn our way into heaven. Um, but if we choose to accept him as our savior, much like a Christmas gift, you offer me a Christmas gift, it's there. But until I take it and accept it and thank you for it, it's really not mine. And that's what God calls us to do. Accept his son as our savior. And that way we can be sure we're going to spend an eternity in heaven someday. That is amazing. Despite ourselves, despite all of our shortcomings and
Yeah.
immaturities, God wants a relationship with us and he's provided it for us. That's the strongest thing. And creating that habit of like week in, week out, we're training for Ironman. We got to come back. We got to work on this technique. We got Wyoming Sem coming up. We got, Doc B coming up. And then we're going to Barton and McCourt's looming and like all of that stuff is always going to be there and is always going to be vying for your attention. And if you get the opportunity to like enjoy those stages in that competition, attack it. It's amazing. It's life-giving. But the secret sauce is realizing that the most meaningful thing is found in that relationship with Christ. And when that is your purpose, no one can take it away. An injury could take away your wrestling experience. If you care about what people say about you online, that could obviously be taken from you really quick because anybody can say anything. If it's your ranking, if it's an NIL deal, there's so much subjectivity to all that stuff, and it's just fleeting. Um, we spent a lot of time trying to prepare guys for college and life with that discipline.
Mhm.
Think that's the most meaningful. From a technical standpoint, I think a lot of matches are won and lost just like in the physicality and being able to win like the front headlock position. So we try to credit ourselves to being dominant in that position. And I also think like I was a leg rider, and sort of like a lot of mat wrestling sometimes can be overlooked. People are gunning for freestyle and off season, and my brother's especially good at like tight waist and emphasizing the ride and just how you can break guys from putting weight on their hands and um, scoring quick points from the top position. So that's been something that we've tried to equip the guys with. Like let's be different, spend time in the top position, not be so quick to just cut all day long. And um, so Christ, God's word, um, I think a habit of ours, especially like towards the second half of the season. Like we always try to pride ourselves on peaking. We want to be a team that like uses the season to grow and mature and problem solve and refine our lifestyle habits so that at the end of the year, you know, no one's going to beat us in March. Like that is when we peak. And I think you do that by like at the end of practice when you're most tired, you create a habit of like, this is when I'm my sharpest. This is when I'm my most competitive. Like I peak at the right time. You create that habit when you're at a tournament and you get to the end, man, that is when you really lock in and then that can be said of you, you know, throughout the season then. We have this mindset where like even if there's shortcomings, even if there's whatever, we're going to learn from them, we're going to grow from them, we're going to problem solve, and we're going to keep trying to peak towards the end. And one of the ways that we do that is the second half of the year. We wake up early together. We do morning runs and sprints, and kind of find an extra gear, find an extra lifestyle discipline. A lot of them end up doing it on their own anyway because they realize that lifestyle habit to be a good one. But that's something that we try to equip them with. By the time you get to college, like, you know, you have your college coaches that spend time with you, you have practices, but you get that extra gear and that extra level of confidence by what you do on your own. So that's really an important uh habit that we want to send them with. You just go to practice like everybody else. Why should you stand out? Why should you have a superior confidence that you deserve to win? Like, those things are always bred by you and what you do with your time when no one's watching. So yeah, try to speak that truth into them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Accept Christ as your savior, be good in the front headlock position, and good mat wrestling. That's the Faith Christian Academy secret sauce. That's
yeah,
that's why you're number one. Got it. Okay. If everyone else listening and in the country can do those three things,
there you go.
oh, you'll be good.
You got a mean top ride. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else, man.
Hold on.
You can
Um,
tell it pretty quick. Like I tell you, like surround yourself with like-minded people. So
there you go. Yeah,
you
for
want
sure.
to be a good wrestler. Like our program has benefited so greatly. Like I did not know all these kids when they wrestled for the youth in Contender Elite. But as you know, like all the dads know each other.
Yeah.
No, nobody tighter knit than a group of youth dads. Uh, you you think like Real Housewives of New Jersey is a thing? Like, no, no. Come down to southeastern PA and sit at a local TGI Friday where the youth dads are talking wrestling after a tournament. Like, you don't know nothing.
That could be a show, man. Really. The real wrestling dads of Southern PA or something. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
I'll send some kids. But
Yeah.
anyway, there's a bunch of dads who talked and ended up setting their kids to faith and I get to be the beneficiary of being one of their coaches and
Yeah.
that, like I said, that's made me a better person and a better coach and a lot of the guys have continued to grow and mature, become more competitive, not because I have a secret sauce, but because they're sharpening themselves every day with really elite people. It's a very important part of the secret sauce.
Yeah. Do you guys do much with freestyle and Greco? And I know that might sound like a silly answer, but like, since college wrestling is folk style, does that can sometimes get overlooked in some
Yeah.
aspects? So
Yeah,
just kind of curious.
they do like that's a again a compliment not to me because I was a football player. I didn't do a lot of the like freestyle Greco-Roman. That was not a part of my routine. And then by the time I got to college, it didn't make sense for like Hofstra to pay for me to go and compete in those styles because I wasn't very good at them. I didn't really want to do it. Um, our guys are year-round wrestlers, so they do have a habit. They do have goals of being Olympians and making world teams. Some of them have. They want to be out at Fargo. Like so, yeah. The bulk of our team trains in the off season. They freestyle Greco in the spring, in the summer, and then it's right around that August time that we transition back to folk style. Um, but because like I don't have a knowledge, they train at like the local RTCs. Lehigh is a big one that a lot of them go to, but they go down to Penn and out to Princeton and have private coaches and stuff like that they'll work with and I get to be you know more of a husband and a dad. That's obviously become um, a necessary part of my lifestyle in the last 5-6 years now. And they'll hit me up to you know get smaller sessions in during the off season, so it's not a crazy regimen, but
Yeah.
definitely a lot of freestyle Greco with the group.
Do you ever see yourself becoming a very minor middle school football coach or something like that to just even dip the toe and just to like scratch that itch of football, man, you know?
Dude, I'm gonna send you a picture My son Colton, he's my oldest. And then I have three girls, Hayden, Kelsey, Hannah, that are younger than him. And so he loves football. I told you he was coming outside today, like Eagle stink, dude. They're doing it good. Like, um, and he's just playing football all the time. So at some point, I don't know if there's even like spring ball local to the area that we're in, or if maybe we'll do it in the fall. But yeah, I can't wait to coach him up.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna send you a picture with like my headset on and the plays on my wristband and a bunch of 6-year-olds out there that don't understand me anyway and going at him and going crazy. Yeah, yeah, I'll be coaching some middle school football till I find out like I did in high school that I'm just not very good and the parents get together and vote me off and yeah,
Hey, maybe you'll be a better football coach, you know?
perhaps.
Perhaps. I
Like,
mean, I don't know. You've never done it before, so you don't know.
maybe wrestling is a blessing because like I know there's a humility involved because I wasn't that guy. I wasn't like this end all be all like amazing wrestling guy.
Mhm.
So I got to learn and I got to stay humble and maybe that's helped me to be a good coach. In my mind, I'm the NFL player that never made it and if I bring that toxicity to youth football, I'll probably learn that that's not a good coaching ingredient. We'll
No,
see.
well, I'm excited for you that you're still able to, like with football being a love, that you're able to still, like I said, scratch that itch and be involved a little bit because like that's cool, like mine is baseball, and so just being able to watch it, I don't coach it or anything, but that'd be cool just to be involved a little bit, because
Yeah.
I just love the sport. I don't know.
Would you play? What
So
position?
I started out on the infield playing shortstop and second base, and then I moved to the outfield later on in my career. Like freshman year, I think I moved to the outfield. So
Nice. Never pitched though.
yeah, I did when I was younger, and then I never like continuously pitched. So I kind of like fell behind the eight ball there, So
Nice.
yeah.
I played up until eighth grade, which sounds like stupid, right? But I that was our first sport that we all started. My dad was a good baseball player, and
Okay.
got to high school where it's like you got to give something up, and so it ended up
Yeah.
being baseball. But I'm with you. I do love baseball. I
Mhm.
still play a little slow pitch softball every now and
No
then.
kidding, you do?
See if I
Good
still
for
got
you.
it. I
Do you?
don't,
Oh,
but they still walk me out to shortstop though. You know what I mean? Like oh, this guy, young kid, he's athlete, he'll figure it out.
yeah.
You play softball once a year at shortstop, like you're gonna have some errors. You know what I mean? Like so, I'm with you though. I love it. Phillies are always good too, which helps, and Colton likes watching it. So baseball's
Right.
good stuff, man.
Yeah, yeah. That's one stadium I want to get to is Citizens State Bank.
Yeah,
See the Philly Fanatic. That's something I want to do.
nice. And are you a Twins fan too?
Yeah.
Is it like
I'm a
you
Cubs
all
fan. Like, yeah, my dad's a huge Cubs fan, so just kind of grew up being a Cubs fan. I don't
nice?
know. Yeah. But all right. Man, I'll let you go. I know it's 10 o'clock there. I just appreciate you taking some time at all to do this and just kind of hang out and chat wrestling and your story and how this crazy life that we've all lived, just how it all come full circle. And why don't you send us the Air Force some of your really awesome good kids so we can be a good program, huh? That'd be nice.
I definitely you are getting one
You
of them,
know?
Armin Waltball. Like Armin Waltball is going to
Yep.
be.
Yeah, yeah, he's coming. Yep.
So you familiar that he was at Faith before he went to the Hill School?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Okay, so like Armin,
Correct.
his,
Yes.
his parents went to. Actually, don't know if his mom did, but his dad graduated from Faith Christian Academy. Like the
Okay.
Waltball family, they're like founders of Faith Christian Academy, honestly.
Really?
So I've known that family a long time, and Armin is amazing. Like he's such a good kid. He's a talented kid. He's a headhunter, man. He's all sorts of confident. But like salt of the earth, you're getting a good one in Armin. So maybe there'll be more to come.
Yeah. No, that's
But
awesome. Yeah, I was over at Coach Elroy Perkins' house here watching the Bears before I came and did this, and I told him I was talking to you. He's like, "Oh yeah, Armin Walton went there." I'm like, "Oh, no kidding. Okay, cool." So
Armin, Armin's he's a legend, man. I'm glad he's going out there. That's been a
good.
lifelong dream of his. So it's
Nice.
he's a deserving kid for something like that to come to fruition. So yeah, you're getting a good one, man.
Yeah. Well, again, yeah, I appreciate you doing this, and good luck on the rest of the year, and hopefully you kind of keep this momentum going as kids graduate and new guys come in, and that can be, you can ride that wave, but as long as you are genuine to who you are, I'm sure it'll be, whatever comes will be great.
Whatever happens, happens, man.
Yeah.
It's a fun ride no matter what. I appreciate you having me on, and you're easy to talk to, man. It's a fun chit chat. So keep doing your thing and
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I will.
pick up a little slow pitch softball. I'm telling you, like
I mean,
if
now
you
that I'm
got
out here, I might. I don't know.
you
I
got
mean,
that itch, man, just
a little
there's
bit.
somewhere that'll take you. You go out there and
Yeah,
make some mistakes and bring it back.
I'm sure. I mean, that's the one sport where as you get older, you can still kind of play. I mean, there are
Yeah,
guys out there that are playing knee pads, man,
that's
shoulder
right.
break. You know.
Whenever those doubts come up, you just go watch. Like number one, you're gonna find out no one watches them, so you're
Right,
there's not
yeah.
much pressure there. There's not spectators at slow pitch softball games.
Yeah.
Not even the wives. Like no one is there to support that endeavor. So
Your wife
little
doesn't go and watch you
pressure.
play?
What's
Your
that?
wife your wife doesn't go and watch you play?
No, 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 no. She no spectators at slow pitch softball. That's a fact. And then yeah, you look at the talent that's out there and you go, why did I think I couldn't do this? Look at these guys. They got this.
Yeah.
So
What does your wife do? I never asked you that. I like to kind of see what they're up
she
to.
she's PR and marketing. She worked in Manhattan coming out of college.
Ooh,
Um,
ooh, okay.
she yeah, she's worked for a bunch of different companies, and she kind of like as she progressed, she was able to kind of come back to Long Island. She worked in 1-800-Flowers corporate building and for Canon cameras, and then like I said, she looked for work in Pennsylvania, worked in the corporate office of a hospital, and it was such a slow pace compared to what she was used to in New York. She started like picking up her own clients just to keep herself busy, and uh, and then she was like, "Hey, I could do this for myself. Just work on my own, and have private clients." And so she did that for a number of years, and we just celebrated being married 10 years.
Nice. Congrats.
4 kids later, this is the first year where we've kind of gone like, let me you be a mama bear. And she's homeschooling Colton in kindergarten this year. So she's all sorts of busy. Yeah, she's all sorts of busy, but this is the first year where she's trying to be an at-home mom, and um I gotta make the money now. So I should probably figure that out.
And you're doing construction
Yeah, yeah.
with your teaching degree.
Teaching instruction. Don't I I have we've got some plans. We've got some plans in the works
All
to
right.
merge a little wrestling construction. The business is there's opportunity there. So my degree, my teaching experience will not be for naught. It's
Yeah,
gonna
good.
mold itself into something cool coming up here. So
Yeah. Do any of your athletes like come and work for you like during the summer or something?
that I mentioned Cody Wagner as a kid that he was like the only graduate in that class 2 years ago. He was
Yeah.
home from college and um, he just had like a little bit more free time, I would say, than a lot of them do. Like honestly, their
Yeah.
schedules are so disciplined. Like Kale Whittemore has been out on a job and Gage Matero and some of the kids have been on a site before, but like from a we hired them for the summer sort of deal. Like that's not the closest thing has been Cody Wagner when he came home for a few weeks stint. he worked with us, yeah, every day. Has some late nights, like he's seen the grind. You know what I mean? There's some jobs
Yeah,
where
yeah,
it's like concrete setting up, sun's going down. We're gonna set up spotlights. Like, welcome to the jungle here, buddy.
yeah,
But I think there, I think there's a I think there's something to that where you can learn a trade, and not for nothing, it's physical. It breeds a little bit of a mental toughness. So like you're almost preparing yourself for wrestling, from a
yeah,
strength component and everything. And in the process, you're surrounding yourself with good people, the people that we work with, and wise older men. And yeah, you're learning a trade. You're learning how to deal with money. And I think a lot of like high school students anymore, like it's all about your NIL, it's all about college, and
yeah,
that fabric of good blue collar, it leaves them. You know what I mean? Everything is about going to the next club practice and private coach. And if you're not careful, you're sort of setting up um, you know, a young man that everything is laid out for him. And there's not that look of like, put your boots on, go out, get to work. And, you know, I think that we can offer a good balance of that where we're training together, and we're doing privates, and then we're working and making money, and learning other facets of life too. So we're gonna keep tapping into it, more than we have already.
yeah. Because at the end of the day, like you said earlier, like wrestling's gonna end, and you're gonna have to go out and get a job. So and last question here: is there a guy on the team or a couple guys on the team? Because I've had one other coach on here who has his own business, and sometimes his wrestlers would work with him. Is there a couple of guys on the team that you're like, you would be the last guy I would ask to come out on a construction site because of like I know the type of work that it's going to take, and you just are not a construction guy. No offense to you, but you just like run a skid steer. No.
I would, the guys will laugh when they see this, but I would say one of them would be Nick Singer. He probably would be a little bit too annoying to have on a job site. Like he's just always talking and rambling, and like not totally focused on what's going on. Now he loves the Lord, and like he's got amazing qualities, but like if we were out there to like, dude, we got to grind after this, like
Yeah,
put
right.
like Nick's gonna just be out chit chatting and talking to people, and like not totally locked in. So he is one. I would
That's funny.
say, man, maybe maybe Joe Bachman. There was a there was a time we were driving home from Pontiac, and my son was sick in the back seat, and like I'm driving the van, my son is like throwing up, and Joe was just like, he was out, he was away from it, he was allowing it to happen. And his little brother Freddie, he actually like stepped up, found a bag. Yep, I'm getting thrown up on my hands, but I got your back. Let's figure this out.
Oh,
Showed a lot of fortitude. And so Joey is one that it's like, listen, if it's not for me, it's not for me.
yeah.
So I'm out there like, dude, the sun is setting up the concrete, man. I need you scrubbing. He could be like, listen, my lunch break. I don't know what to tell you.
That's
So,
funny.
he is a dog. He is tough as
Right.
nails.
Yeah.
He also kind of knows like, listen, man, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Tough as shit. Well, whatever. Sorry. Tough on the mat, but yeah, on a construction job site, it's a different kind of tough, man.
trying to think of anyone else. Like it was hard for me to think of those two. We
Yeah.
have good, tough kids that honestly rise to the occasion. But
Nice.
Nick
Good.
would be too talkative, and Joe might just tell me like, no, not today.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Special thanks to my guest, head coach Ben Clymer, for taking the time to sit down and chat with me. Cover art created and designed by Kristen Gill. Please feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe to the podcast. And you can also check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and my Facebook page to hear more of my content. And don't forget to check out my website at letstalkwrestlingpodcast.my.canva.site. And as always, be sure to tune in to hear the next guest of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Take care. See you next time.